The Young and the Restless. Today, Ashley and Jack get into a screaming confrontation. Kyle has some trouble, and Phyllis's kids swear they will get even for their mother's murder. Jack checks in on Nick by leaving a message at the Abbott residence. He thinks he is still in shock over Phyllis's death. If he wants to talk, he should give me a call. Ashley rushes down the stairs and sneers at her brother for putting aside his adoration for Diane long enough to help another person in need. After rekindling his relationship with Diane, she claims Jack has neglected his other relationships. Even in this trying time, Jack's sister still can't let go of her hatred for the woman he loves. When Diane is at the GCAC, Tucker approaches her. The mood just isn't right, she says. He says, I think most people in town are feeling confused about Phyllis' death, but not you. Billy goes to Crimson Lights to ask Sharon for help dealing with his loss. Like the rest of us, Sharon is going through an adjustment period and mourning Phyllis's passing. Billy notices a general lack of vibrancy in his surroundings. Sharon agrees and says, that is so. She is concerned about their reaction to her departure. Summer yells into the phone on the terrace about the memorial flowers she wants and then sits down next to Kyle. He offers assistance, but she angrily tells him, stop asking me. This is my business. Sharon goes inside and tells Billy that it will be a year in May since they said goodbye to Ray. Billy apologizes and claims he was a good person. Sharon recognizes that Dad would want her to be happy, and for that she is grateful. She relates to Billy that she has been FaceTiming with the newborn in Portland. To express his joy, Billy has asked her to convey his best wishes to Tessa and Mariah. While chatting on the patio, Kyle hints to Summer that Daniel may be interested in her thoughts on the memorial. She'll apologize to him on behalf of her mother for the way she's treated her. Kyle advises that a couple's relationship may survive a rough patch of a few months. Summer maintains that this is the last time she recalls seeing them. When Kyle offers to assist her, she refuses. Summer tells him to quit wasting her time with their argument. This memorial event will be a reflection of how much her mother meant to her family and the world. Meanwhile, at the Abbott residence, Ashley is fuming that Jack has taken Diane into the family business and wants to adopt her. When do we say enough? When will the harm she's done finally be enough for us all? She questions whether or not he believes it's a coincidence that he proposed to Diane and then Phyllis passed away soon after. Jack points out that she is just speculating without any evidence. Ashley has experienced the pain Diane has brought about firsthand, and now he is ready to turn his back on her. I fear for you. I'm afraid you'll make the same mistakes that Phyllis did by getting close to Diane. Summer tells Kyle on the Crimson Lights patio that she will never forget the last words her mother heard from Diane. Kyle is praying that Summer learns from this experience that no one is relieved that Phyllis is dead. Summer exclaims angrily, that's not true. I can't believe you haven't seen a light about your mom yet. Just how blind can you be? Kyle encourages her to calm down and get back on track. She had no reason to believe that his mother would intentionally seek out such a horrible outcome. Not just tragic, Summer retorts. Wicked. Tucker at the GCAC inquires as to whether or not Diane had shed a tear for Phyllis. She claims to feel sorrow for her loved ones. Tucker anticipates a significant improvement in her situation once Phyllis has left. There's more where she came from, Diane thinks. Tucker gets it that she's referring to Ashley. Diane has seen their growing closeness. Tucker is making progress on it. Diane recommends that he try to persuade Ashley to be considerate of his grief during this time. Of course I will, because he would extend me the same courtesy, Tucker sneers. He picks on Jack for being sad about his ex-lover. He hears from Diane how awful he is. Tucker leaves the room. Meanwhile, at the Abbott residence, Jack bemoans the fact that Phyllis spent her final months ranting about Diane instead of living her own. Angry and upset, he cries out, her death is a horrible loss. And if Phyllis's stress level played a role, it was her own doing. A distraught Ashley exclaims, you're going to blame Phyllis, the dead woman. You think she's to blame? It couldn't possibly be Diane's doing, could it? She has been completely angelic. Jack is outraged that Ashley is continuing her vendetta against Diane despite Phyllis's happy ending. Ashley feels compelled to guard him. He screams at her, saying, I don't need your protection. Just do it. Is there truly nothing to do in your life? I mean, do you really have such a black soul? When asked what love is, Ashley sobs, "This is it. Since you can't defend yourself, Jack, I will continue to do so." She then bolts out the door as Billy comes in. Summer tells Kyle on the patio of Crimson Lights that she thinks she knows who killed Phyllis. Kyle is of the opinion that she has to talk to someone about her loss. Even Sharon, maybe? Summer angrily explains their backstory to him. Kyle maintains that it is irrelevant at this point. Summer is convinced that he wants Sharon to convince her that her mother's death was a tragic set of events. "That's exactly what it was," confirms Kyle. "Nothing about this was deliberate. Summer has some business, therefore she had to leave, alone herself." She walks right past Sharon and exits. On the patio, Sharon approaches Kyle and inquires about Summer's well-being. Kyle is at a loss for action. He should not have advised her to consult an expert. He's convinced that he never fails to speak or do the proper thing. When Summer insults his mother, he wants to know how to defend her. The agony, Sharon reassures him, will lessen over time. Even if Summer doesn't take his encouragement, she knows he'll do all he can for her. "Your presence is all that's needed. The two of you are family to Summer, and you will get through this together." Summer stops by Daniel at the bar in the club to see how he's doing. He laments, everything hurts. She understands. The topic shifts to the funeral. Summer was unable to discuss the matter with anyone else, and instead had to take action on her own. Daniel claims he has a right to be included because Phyllis is his mother as well. Billy won't defend Ashley to Jack at the Abbott residence because he wasn't there. They list all the things about Phyllis that they will miss. Billy claims that Ashley is not the only target of finger-pointing. There have been some remarks, Jack. "About what?" Jack interjects. "That possibly Diane was involved," Billy retorts. When Ashley finally entered Tucker's suite, she questioned his whereabouts at the time. He reports that the Grand Phoenix is undergoing refurbishment. Ashley is concerned that she has developed a habit of relying on him. Tucker jokes, Well, let's be bad then." Ashley is concerned that he is completely unmoved by life, as he seems to always be flippant and unruffled. Tucker maintains that one of them must maintain composure. Ashley goes on a rage about how her brother is blind and loyal to Diane. The fact that Jeremy Stark effectively labeled her a murderer only serves to deepen Jack's love for her. Tucker chuckles and then offers an apology. Ashley tells him he needs to apologize because of how this makes him feel. Everyone is understandably preoccupied with Phyllis's passing, so there's no need in trying to steal Jack and Diane's thunder by announcing that they're going to be engaged. Even if it made Jack look at himself and see the folly of forgiving someone who's brought you nothing but grief and turning around and marrying that person. Ashley says she was warming up to the notion of their pretend engagement. She asks, "Did I hurt your feelings?" Tucker claims that she is the only one who can break through his defenses. He thinks that even if they fake an engagement, they'll wind up being married in reality. Ashley chuckles. Jack is curious about the source of the rumors about Diane at the Abbott residence. He goes on an anti-Jeremy Stark diatribe, shouting, "This is crazy." When Diane visits Crimson Lights, she discovers Kyle sobbing on the patio. When she taps his shoulder, he gets to his feet to give her a bare embrace. Diane thinks he's having a hard time processing the loss of Phyllis. Summer isn't letting Kyle in on what she's going through, but Kyle understands. Diane wonders if it could be her fault. Summer apologizes to Daniel at the nightclub. She feels guilty about how she treated her mother, and this memorial service is her way of making amends to her. Daniel is also aware that he has a lot to atone for. They now wish they'd made an effort to mend fences with her. That's why she made all the arrangements herself, and Daniel gets it. He knows he should be concentrating on his job, but whenever he tries, all his thoughts return to Phyllis. He exhibits to Summer a drawing he made in his sleepless state. Summer is eager to include it in the show. She had been searching for a suitable picture but found this instead. She guarantees that their mother will be honored properly at the memorial service. What happens next will be handled by Daniel. A spectacular funeral for Mom and a terrible knockout for Jeremy Stark. What that's they both deserve. Summer feels relieved that she is not going crazy. Daniel believes it all sounds fishy, especially since Stark made the announcement that she and their mother were married just before the ambulance arrived to whisk her away. He believes the slimy son of a bitch is responsible for their mother's death and plans to investigate further. Summer and Daniel sit down on the couch, and they discuss how what happened to their mother was definitely not a coincidence. In a first step, Daniel claims he'll verify the legitimacy of the marriage license. If so, Stark obviously married Phyllis for financial reasons before murdering her. Summer claims Kyle had the same intuition, but they are failing to see the link. Diane. Ashley, while visiting Tucker in his suite, inquires as to the likelihood of their sham engagement leading to true love. McCall insists that a dazzling engagement party isn't what love is about, but he'd throw one anyhow. What are you planning to do this time, she inquires. You could probably get a tank through here. Tucker assures us that this one announcement will surpass anything Diane and Jack have ever done. He describes the rock he would place on her finger, saying that it would be visible from outer space. Ashley sneers when told she is financially independent. Tucker would give her a slew of expensive jewels. Ashley gently reminds him that he is not in love with her. One of us isn't, Tucker admits. To pull her away from Diane, they would have to make the phony engagement seem real, so they could spend all their time together and finally move in together. He tells her to visualize her ideal home, promising to construct it for her. They're going to throw a wedding so big it'll make the bicentennial look low-key. Ashley assumes he is hoping she will develop romantic feelings for him. Tucker believes she would recognize his manhood and his undying love for her. He would make her life more joyful than she could have imagined. You'll notice. Our union was inevitable, and the sham marriage would turn into a real one. Summer, while out with Daniel, brings up the fact that Jeremy's whole life has been centered around Diane, the woman who threatened to kill their mother at the gala. The sincerity of her intent is evident. She tells him how she witnessed her sister Diane murdering their mother and remarking that by killing her, Diane would be doing the world a good. Inquiring if the authorities are aware, Daniel says, according to Summer, yes. She should have taken Phyllis's fears about Diane more seriously. Perhaps Stark misled her into thinking that, in exchange for money, he would guarantee her safety. Then, because his allegiance has always been with Diane, he betrayed her. Specifically, Daniel notes that Stark is placing the blame on Diane. Summer speculates that he was hurt because he felt misled by her engagement announcement. He's out for vengeance now. At Tucker's place, Ashley is enjoying herself and encourages him to keep talking. His memory is jogged by their shared apartment and wedding preparations. You'll lower your guard and stop making excuses for why you have to keep your distance from me, and then you'll take the ultimate, terrifying step you've been avoiding. And you know this isn't some kind of joke I'm playing on you. You've been fooling yourself for quite some time. You can finally give yourself what you want, Ashley, he adds, kissing her fingers and forehead. Us. Ashley apologizes profusely for not being ready to commit to such a lovely tale. He still has some proving up to do. Tucker hid his face in his pillow. Diane apologizes to Kyle and Summer if she is bothering them by being on the terrace at Crimson Lights. He's confident that she'll come to terms with the reality. Diane is aware that Summer can easily take advantage of her. Both Kyle and his father want Kyle to reassure his mom that they have full faith in her. Gratitude fills her heart. Jack tells Billy at the Abbott residence that he doesn't give a hoot about the rumors around Diane. Billy is curious about how he actually feels. I'm good, Jack says. Quite good, thanks for asking. If Billy still feels the same way about Diane after this, he has to know. According to Jack, this has only solidified his decision to wed Diane. He guarantees her safety from whatever Stark has in mind. While at the club, Summer spills the beans to Danielle about how Diane plans to usurp their mother's legacy. Phyllis sought to warn her about the threat that posed by Diane. I didn't pay attention, and now she's gone. Daniel thinks there are still too many unanswered questions in the world. The truth, Summer says, will eventually emerge. I'll guarantee it.